Is the mummy's curse real? Of course not, right? Well, before you write it off as ancient hokum, consider the case of one Brendan Fraser. He dared to defy the ancient curse of the mummy, and as we'll soon see, truly suffered the consequences. Tonight, the meteoric rise and tragic fall of Brendan Fraser gets deep fat fried.
Deep fat fried.
My wife, for some reason, inexplicably, I do not understand it, hates Brendan Fraser.
What?
Yeah.
I mean,
Does she really?
everybody's got that guy. I hate Paul Rudd.
Yeah. Right, for me, it's Ray Liotta.
Right?
I see Ray Liotta. I hate his guts.
Oh, Paul, really? Yours is Paul Rudd, too?
Paul Rudd.
Scotty
I
hates
fucking
Paul Rudd
can't
too.
stand him.
Oh, dude, that's the one dude that shows up in a fucking movie. I'm like, no!
Why is that? Because I don't know. I like Paul Rudd all right.
But fuck you, I like Ray Liotta.
Yeah, well, whatever. I like Brendan Fraser. We all like Brendan Fraser, right?
I think so.
No one hears-
Dude, you know what, dude? I want a Paul Rudd versus Ray Liotta fucking competition. I want
Let's
it, dude.
get on
I
it.
don't want it. I don't want it. Okay, you go ahead and make it then.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I'll make. You know what? Me and Paul.
That's your
work on it.
responsibility to work on that piece of shit. Then
Paul, we got to work on that, dude.
Yeah, we can do it.
Torture
Anyway,
TJ.
we're here
We
to
can
talk
do
about
it.
Brendan
Let's
Fraser.
talk
All
for a
right, fair enough.
Focus. Brendan Fraser. What do we got?
I don't think there's any arguing that Brendan Fraser's career was started with one movie, Encino Man. He had some TV movies before this, so it wasn't his first role, but this was definitely his breakout role. What do you guys? How you guys feel about this movie? I think it's a pretty good flick.
So to me,
I liked it as a kid.
I got some nostalgia for it for sure. I remember seeing this movie in theaters with my mom. I remember her taking me to go see it. I was a little kid. And I remember thinking it was funny then and having fun with it. I have not seen it. I don't think I've seen it since then. So I have very distant childhood memories of the movie, but I don't really.
I've seen it on TV a couple of times, like just bits and pieces of it. But I definitely fondly remember it. Like, I had good memories. Like, I remember watching it. People around me thought it was funny. And
I remember thinking, I mean, like the fact that I remember scenes from a movie that I saw once in theaters as a little kid is kind of like I remember him going. I remember he'd like drive in the car and he's like driving like a fucking maniac and like the car's like up on two wheels and stuff.
Like it just I have fond memories.
I remember Pauly Shore is in this, right?
Yes, yeah.
Remember Pauly
So-
Shore and his like buddy like walking through the house and seeing the mud and the stuff, and they're like, "Oh shit, the caveman thawed out and stuff." You know?
Yeah, Pauly Shore is in this. For those people that might have never seen it or heard of it, a quick synopsis. When they find a frozen caveman in their backyard, two high school outcasts thaw him out and introduce him to modern life, while he in turn gets them to actually enjoy their lives.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, sometimes it takes the wisdom of a caveman.
We got ourselves a little trailer we can look at here if you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to watch the whole thing. This is actually a teaser.
It's
So
only
we probably
30 seconds. So we can probably get
He's
through
a
it.
caveman who just stepped into the 20th century. Whoa! Now, two guys from Encino are going to teach him to be normal.
That's boring.
Dude, it's Sam.
We're going psycho again, bro. Shut.
probably copyrighted as
Yeah.
fuck here, unfortunately.
Too copyrighted.
Too copyrighted to play. Too copyright to play. So yeah, but this is you get it.
Anyway.
You get it. It's like 90s bullshit.
I mean, say what you want about it. It catapulted Brendan Fraser into stardom.
He's easily the best part of the fucking movie.
Oh, God, yeah.
It made him into a marketable Hollywood commodity. He's pretty good in it as the caveman. So, you know, what else can you say about Encino Man? Good start
Not
to
much.
a young man's career, right? Good trajectory.
Yeah.
His next big score was this movie here. Not a huge, gigantic hit, but still well remembered and well reviewed. A movie called School Ties. This is a movie about a Jewish kid in the 1950s, played by Brendan Fraser, who is a star quarterback, but has to hide the fact that he's a Jew from his racist classmates.
We just have one question for you, Brandon. Do you happen to be a Jew? He's like, no, not me, guys. Not at all. It's like,
here's a little trailer for that.
Yeah, I mean, and this is a long form trailer.
Hey,
so
guys.
Yeah, I'll just bounce around it a little.
How about Hanukkah? Hanukkah? Yeah, I hate it.
From the very first, David Green.
Wow, the sound is terrible.
Yeah, I mean these old trailers, you got to take what you can get, you know.
Yeah. But then they found out he's
I
a
love
Jew.
that quarterback as long as he ain't a goddamn Jew.
So basically,
Wait, was that fucking Matt Damon in there?
Yeah,
Is it?
Matt. It's a
I
very
thought I
young
saw
Matt Damon too.
somewhere.
Young Matt Damon, huh?
Yeah.
That's
that's
him for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Matt Damon. I never fucking forget that. Anyway, yeah, it's like a football movie.
So yeah, I mean, it's if you've never seen this movie, it's basically he gets a group of friends and they find out he's Jewish, but they don't care because he's so talented. But then they all face backlash from the predominantly racist student body and faculty when it's just discovered that he's a Jew, and everybody goes to bat for him to get to play and blah 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 blah. Right.
There's a lot of movies like this, like remember the Titans. They hired the black coach, and they're like, "Oh, you're white and we're black," but then they come together.
Right.
Sports movies.
But the rest of the town is like, "Fuck that."
Sports movies do tend to do the whole like racism thing a lot for some reason or another.
They sure do. And this is also a college movie, another college movie you may have not seen.
Oh, you know what? I've seen this.
Yep. This was another big, relatively big movie, well regarded, well reviewed film. It's got Joe Pesci in it as a crazy.
Pesci?
Yeah.
Dude, for a
Joe
second I thought it was
Pesci.
Zach Galifianakis, but then I was like, "Whoa, it's Joe Pesci."
Yeah, he plays a crazy homeless guy in this movie.
Yeah, but he's like brilliant too.
He's like,
Shit.
yeah,
He's
this is
kinda
like
lost his mind a little bit too.
I love Joe Pesci.
This is almost like a precursor to the fucking what was that movie with Matt Damon?
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. Where he's got like kind of this crazy old man that's brilliant that kind of influences him or blah, 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 whatever. It's a little different, but it's got a little bit of that flavor to it. It's much more of a comedy film than Good Will Hunting is. We can watch a little.
If I remember right, there is some kind of dramatic moments here and there, though. But
Yeah.
Henry Kessler was at the top of his class,
Harvard doesn't have any standards left.
I go to Harvard.
but all it took was one little slip
This isn't just some term paper, This is my life.
to bring him face to face
No!
with reality.
Don't burn any more pages.
You want something? I need something. For each night's lodging, 1 page.
There are 88 pages in that thesis.
There are 83 pages now.
You're unbelievable.
You really get my thesis.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah. I know we're going to get just flagged to shit for these, aren't we?
Yeah, I think as long as we
Skip
are
around a
mindful
little
not
bit.
to play too long, it'll
Yeah.
probably be fine.
Question?
But it seems like they play that. They were way more likely to use super copyrighted shit in trailers back then, I noticed.
Well, there was no
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, there was no YouTube to worry about, I guess.
There's no means of distributing all this shit.
Willing to
Easily.
give you her love. It's the greatest gift in the world.
And their minds.
To love free, to feed the remainder of life with one eye.
That's one of them life-affirming bullshit movies.
It is. I mean, like, look, dude, if you like this type of movie, you could do worse. And Brendan Fraser is good in it. Joe Pesci's really the star of the show here.
I mean, Joe Pesci's fucking awesome. I mean, look, Joe Pesci. You can put Joe Pesci in anything; it's gonna be good.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the Joe Pesci principle, right?
Sure.
I mean, the man's holding a plunger, jumping out of a bathtub.
I'm
wearing
a
Viking horns.
I'm a bubble bath Viking plunger guy.
I live life. I'm a Viking in a bathtub.
Unless you've done this, you ain't living, bitch.
Hey, you know what? He figured his life out.
Yeah,
Figured his life.
good for him.
So, whatever you may think about this career move next, it was a good one for Brendan Fraser.
Hey, whatever. George of the Jungle.
Dude, this came out on my birthday.
Yeah.
This came out on a July 16th, way back in the 90s or whatever. So I went to see it on my birthday. I remember.
I probably wouldn't enjoy it now, but I remember enjoying it at the time. So
Yeah.
Kind of a
she's George
kid's
of the Jungle.
movie.
Hey, he crashes
Yeah.
into trees. Got a fucking big ass talking monkey and shit. It's fun.
Yep. We've got a little teaser trailer for it.
Cool.
Walt Disney Pictures.
The African jungle lives.
None of these fucking fake out trailers.
Yeah.
They're like, this is a serious movie.
A
Always.
mysterious figure.
Actually, it's not.
His name is legendary.
They're obviously trying to make you think it's like a
His
Tarzan
strength
trailer,
is remarkable.
except that monkey looks way too fake.
Yeah,
so
it looks way too goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've already tipped their hand that this is not a serious movie just by showing you that.
And his theme song is pretty good, too.
True that.
Yeah, dude. And he crashes in the tree.
Watch out for that tree. Watch out for that.
Talk about this is another fucking thin premise, but I don't know. It works all right.
You know what, though, dude? It was one of those things like the 90s loved the 60s. We did a lot of 60s throwbacks then. So.
George of the fucking Jungle. This was like these were like on Rocky and Bullwinkle, weren't they? Like the little George of the Jungle shorts.
They were like little cartoon shorts making fun of Tarzan. Like he was an inept Tarzan, basically.
Yeah. What if Tarzan was a friggin' moron? There you go.
But, you could say that he made a bad choice taking some of these roles, but his trajectory led him, of course, eventually to probably his most well-regarded and well-remembered role in the Mummy trilogy.
Hell yeah.
Dude, the Mummy movies are fucking great. Well, the first two. The third one, not so much.
The sands will part. The heavens
we'll talk
will
a
part.
little bit further about the third one. I pulled a trailer for the first one and some movie posters for the rest.
I've seen this movie like 50 times, so I'm well versed in it.
Yeah.
Not a bad
fucking movie. It's a good fucking movie. It holds up.
It does. In my opinion.
On a dig down in Thebes.
Jonathan?
What the fuck is this? Dun, 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 dun.
City of the Dead.
Legend of a place known as the City of the Dead.
Where the earliest pharaohs were said to have hidden the wealth of Egypt. Are we going into battle?
There's something out there. Something underneath that sand.
Oh, yeah.
They came to uncover its secrets.
Mummies, my good son. This is where they made the mummies.
Best character in the movie right there, by the way, Benny.
Oh, Benny. Oh, dude, I love Benny.
I love the part where he's like going through all the religious titles.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, you speak the language
Something's
of the
got to work
slaves.
on this motherfucker.
Yeah, then he enters Hemotep service.
The only thing that sucks about this movie is that Benny fucking dies.
At the very end.
He gets crushed. Should have kept that motherfucker around for the sequel.
He doesn't get crushed.
No, he gets eaten by the
he gets trapped.
He gets trapped with all the treasure in the dark and eaten by the scarabs.
Yeah, you're right.
Pocket's treasure.
I'm misremembering.
And then there was light.
Oh, boy.
What they did.
Oh, my God. It does exist.
I think this may be the Book of the Dead.
Yeah, probably is.
Force,
Don't fuck with the Book of the Dead.
the world
Movie rule.
has ever known.
Don't do it.
You must not read from the book!
You have unleashed the creature that we have feared for more than 3,000 years.
Whoa!
He will regenerate and no longer be the undead.
We are in serious trouble.
You swim!
If the occasion calls for it.
Trust me! It calls for it!
Universal Pictures invites you.
His powers are growing.
Run!
This just keeps getting better and better.
To experience the adventure
It appears he's already chosen his human sacrifice.
that will live forever.
It's a good trailer too.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a great movie.
They got all the epic like all that shit going on.
This did the justice for the Mummy, dude. This is a
Turns
great
me into a
version.
mummy of the first one I'm coming after.
Go!
Some of the CG hasn't aged great, but
No,
it's not
it
bad. I've seen worse.
Are you hyped? You should
I am
be.
hyped.
Yes, dude.
I'm gonna go watch the
You're
fucking
right,
Mummy. Fuck
that
this.
giant mouse
I'm
about
out.
to fucking eat me.
I'm out. Going to watch the Mummy, motherfuckers.
The Mummy. Dude, we saw when it came out, and I loved it as a kid. I still love it now.
Yeah,
The Mummy's
I
good.
just actually recently watched The Mummy for the first time with my wife Amelia. Her first time, and
cool.
it inspired this episode. Of course, there were two successful sequels to The Mummy. The first one being The Mummy Returns, which is a great movie in its own right. I mean, it is
Despite
what it is.
the giant fucking CGI scorpion version of the Rock that looks terrible.
Yeah, the Scorpion King is an unforgivable slight. But overall, I still really enjoyed the film. I actually think they actually did something else with it for the sequel. It was like, okay, they still have Emotep. They still have this other enemy. He was horrible CGI, but I definitely like the journey, the adventure, and I think they had enough characters and stuff. Like, this actually works as a sequel, in my opinion.
It does.
Yeah. It's not as good as the original.
No, not as good, but it's definitely still enjoyable.
Watchable.
Yeah, I watched it recently, and I would say it's a few steps down from the first one.
Too far. There we go.
Oh, no.
Now, this I did not see. I took one look at the trailer for this and was like, man.
I'll tell you this. It could be worse, but as a mummy movie, it's pretty disappointing. It's got its moments. But by this point in his career, as we will learn, Brendan Fraser was starting to fall apart at the seams a little bit.
Yeah. Dude, even if you go back and watch The Mummy Returns, he's starting to chub up a little bit there.
Yeah, he's going from.
I'm not saying that his fatness is the only thing.
He's becoming fat.
I'm not saying that his fatness is necessarily an indicator of his life falling apart or whatever, but like, you know.
All right, look how he looked at Encino Man. That fucking thing, like he's a pretty thin dude, honestly. And then but honestly, for The Mummy, he like bulked up. Where it's like, yeah, I'm the fucking adventurer guy. But then by the second one,
then he bulked up in a different way.
Then it's like you start to get the gut. It's like, oh, you gotta hide it a little bit more.
Blub 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 blub. You know, it's a little like fucking.
So some might even say that Brendan's decision to muck around with the ancient curse of the mummy was part of his demise, because it was around the times that he started shooting the Mummy movies and gaining the mega star type of, like at the point of the Mummy movies, especially the first and second one, he was the biggest action star in America. And one of the highest paid actors in America. So
that makes sense.
He ascended from kind of a quirky stoner actor to the highest paid actor in America at this time. So,
The Mummy was a huge hit. I mean, you see the trailer, you could probably see why. I mean, people were hyped for that. It was something that was. We hadn't had like 50 million remakes of a bunch of fucking shit. You know, The Mummy had not been used as a property in a long time, and they did this like very high budget sort of like cutting edge fucking effects sort of fucking take on it, and with like super likable characters and a really good script. And it just propelled fucking Brendan Fraser to a household name status instantly. He's already had some fame too. Like people knew who he was. Sure, but that really fucking
honestly one of the in my opinion one of the best paced movies that as far as Universal for big budget has ever put out. It just like the first one, just like I just love how it's paced. It's something I can watch over and over and over again. It's one of the most replayable movies in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Tremendous replay value. Yeah.
So Signs of Trouble started in about 2006 when Brendan and his wife Afton Smith, pictured here, who, you know, I don't mean to be a misogynist, had some big old fat titties. I just got to say it.
Yeah, she sure. I mean, we all knew.
Yeah, I see. What
my focus was there.
I'm just going to be the dude to come out and say it. We're all thinking it.
In my head. Yes,
you have said what we's all thinking.
They put their home on the market for $3 million 9 years into their marriage. It wasn't long after that the couple called it quits. It was Brendan's publicist who communicated this development in December 2007. However, he reassured fans that Afton and Brendan would continue maintaining a caring and close relationship. The two had been struggling with relationship problems for quite some time, and in April 2008, the divorce proceedings commenced. By then, Fraser was among the top Hollywood stars, while Afton was a homemaker. Brendan was ordered to pay monthly alimony of $50,000 a month, along with an additional $300,000 a year for child support. That's blow number one.
Okay.
So it happened. It all happened to come down right around the time that the Curse of the Dragon Emperor came around, and as we'll see a little later, he was breaking down and becoming like less of a name already by then. He was not drawing the kind of movie roles that he was, but it was his luck that this divorce happened at the height of his career. So in 2013, he goes back to court and says, look, I can't pay $900,000 a year anymore. I'm not the fucking star that I used to be. I'm not making the money that I used to be. The court denied his request. And so similar to Nick Cage and a lot of other actors, he started taking pretty much anything that they would throw at him for a role to pay his bills and child support and shit. And this is probably the worst role that he took.
Yeah.
He played.
Wow. He is Grayson the Squirrel.
I mean, you know, I would judge him more, but when it's like you're facing down, like you must pay someone $900,000 a year, and like maybe at the top of your fame, it's like, oh, whatever. But it's like if you're not pulling that money in, that's like $1 million a year. You got to pay somebody.
Yeah, because there was no. I mean, like there was Mummy sequels, I guess, but there was no like. Wow, Brendan Fraser of The Mummy now is doing this other successful thing.
Well, he couldn't do it anymore.
He disappeared. Yeah, he disappeared.
He like we'll learn about it a little bit later, but he literally got to the point where he just like fucking couldn't do these movies anymore. Like they were too strenuous on him. So let's watch a little trailer for Grayson. Now, ironically, of all the shit roles that he took after The Mummy, this one probably paid him the best. But the nut job.
Let's see. Is that him there?
Yeah.
Holy macadamia. Lunch is served. We gotta get those nuts. These nuts are ours! You guys smell like burnt nuts or something?
So you guys get an idea
Brendan
how good
Fraser,
this one is.
dude.
Yeah, is that some burn nuts? There's like a
his nuts is burn the nuts.
Nut joke. The nuts.
All right.
It's nuts.
Oof. Okay.
Well, you know what, TJ, but think about that. Think about 900,000. You know, I mean, you've been divorced. Imagine if you had to pay your ex-wife $900,000 a year.
Yeah.
Like, Grayson ain't looking so bad then.
No.
Grayson is my saving Grayson.
I've got to be Grayson. Well, at least no one will see my fucking face. Pay me.
Give me that fucking money.
So let's talk about his health.
Okay.
So of course his most recognizable role probably to most people is Rick O'Connell in the Mummy franchise. As an aside, he almost didn't get this role. He was up against some huge fucking names in the casting. Tom Cruise, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, and Brad Pitt all turned down the role before they finally cast Brendan Fraser.
Gotcha.
The director was impressed with the success of Brendan Fraser in George of the Jungle, which is actually what got him cast. So say what you want about that movie, but he liked the way he looked in that movie, and he liked the kind of audience pop that he got in that movie, and that ended up being the choice the movie that got him cast ended up being a profitable choice. The Mummy opened May 7, 1999 and grossed $43 million in 3,210 theaters in the United States and Canada on its opening weekend alone. It was the highest non-holiday May opening of all time up until that point. It took the release of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, to knock the movie out of its top spot, which, I mean, that's pretty impressive. Beat everything but Star Wars.
Very establishment. Because, I mean, like, there was, like, the hype for The Mummy came out of fucking nowhere. Like, everything today is, like, built on the back of a bunch of other shit. And I guess that The Mummy had, like, some roots and, like, people kind of remember the classic
the
Mummy,
Silver
I guess.
Age of film, the Silver Age of monster film and shit. But yeah, but it wasn't.
But like, there was no fucking, there was no huge hype around that anymore.
They weren't banking on that. That's how, dude. When I was a kid, I had no idea what the fuck that shit was. I just knew it was like there's gonna be a Mummy movie, and the movie looked appealing on its own.
Yeah,
as it should.
So yeah, it was really kind of created its own hype out of nowhere, and to do that. So like the fact that it took something like as established as Star Wars to dethrone it, I think says something.
And I mean it's pretty impressive numbers too for a movie that was a remake. I mean the first Mummy movie came out in 1932 and follows a similar plot line. It's also essentially, like, if you look at it aesthetically, a ripoff of the Indiana Jones franchise. Pretty heavily. I mean, it's got all the same beats and kind of the same flavor as Indiana Jones does. So definitely an attempt.
Oh yeah, huge Indiana Jones vibes.
Right.
For sure.
Speaking of remakes, I guess Tom Cruise regretted not taking the role of Rick O'Connell because he later starred as essentially the same character in the 2017 Mummy reboot, which is horrible.
It's fucking horrible.
Not a good movie at all. Boring.
Oh my God, it's ass. It's pure ass.
It takes the Mummy shit way too seriously.
I don't know. They were
this movie was like so tongue in cheek and just like so fun. That it's exactly what you want. It's like a Mummy blockbuster. The Tom Cruise one is just like the serious Mummy, and it's like this is seriously fucking boring. That's what this is.
So Brendan Fraser unfortunately really did get the Mummy's curse while filming the sequels. The Mummy films, in addition to having diminishing returns, were causing a physical toll on his body. Brendan Fraser's a big dude. He's like 6'3" and change. Yeah. And when you're that big, doing all these kind of stunts and being up and doing these kind of high octane movies and shit, it starts to break your body down. He's a big man doing stunts, running around in front of green screens, going set to set. His body began to fall apart. So here's a quote. He said, "By the time I did the third Mummy picture in China, which was 2008, I was put together with tape and ice, just like really nerdy and fetishy about ice packs. Screw cap ice packs and downhill mountain biking pads because they're small and light and they fit under your clothes. I was building an exoskeleton for myself daily."
Oh, that sounds bad.
Yeah. So he was
just like taping himself. Like, all right, I'm gonna like build like a little thing I can wear under my clothes.
It kind of reminds
my body
me
together.
It kind of reminds me of when Andre the Giant was the giant in The Princess Bride.
Right.
Where, like, if you've heard stories about that, by the time he got that role, he looked big and imposing, but he was basically like crippled. Like
he's like a hobbled man.
Right.
Like, they had to definitely shoot. I mean, like if you watch his matches around those kind of times in his career, he's like very slow, very like meandering. There's no athleticism left to him. He's just nothing but big anymore.
So eventually he had to get some surgeries to correct this. He needed a laminectomy, which is a pretty big spine surgery. I pulled a picture of it, kind of. A laminectomy is a surgery that creates space and you can see, his kind of physical deterioration here.
Yeah.
It removes the lamina, which is the back part of a vertebra. It's decompression surgery to create space between. So he has horrible back problems. Horrible.
This is the actual surgery stuff.
Yep. So this is actually what they remove from your spinal cord to do this surgery. Oh. And he said the first surgery didn't take. He had to have multiple other surgeries.
Man, that sucks.
So it hobbled him basically, and he could no longer do the kind of roles that he was known for, which is kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of sucks. I mean, it just seems like maybe because a lot of his early roles were very, very physical roles. So he obviously had like some sort of natural athleticism to him.
He had bad fucking joints though.
Yeah, it seems like
even with this, though, the real reason a lot of people speculate that Brendan Fraser's career ended has nothing to do with his physical deterioration. It has to do with his blacklisting by the Hollywood Foreign Press. A lot of people don't know about this. In 2018, Brendan Fraser told GQ that Philip Burke, I think I got a picture of Philip Burke here if you want to take a look at it. Here he is standing with
Brad Pitt there.
Brad Pitt. Philip Burke, the former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, groped him from behind in 2003. On Fraser's way back out of the hotel, this is the story. He was hailed by Philip Burke. In the midst of a crowded room, Burke reached out to shake Fraser's hand. Much of what happens next, Burke recounted in his memoir, and it was also reported by Sharon Waxman in the New York Times. He pinched Fraser's ass in jest, according to Burke. But Fraser says what Burke did was more than a pinch. His left hand reaches around, grabs my ass cheek, and then one of his fingers literally touches me in the taint, and he starts moving it around. Fraser said at this moment, he was overcome with panic and fear. The actor admitted the incident made me retreat. It made me feel reclusive.
Yeah, I can see why.
The fuck, dude?
They just fucking walk up to you like, "Hey, ain't you Brendan Fraser for the Mummy?
I like
gonna give me that tape, boy. I'm powerful Hollywood piece of shit, Edmund Burke or whatever the fuck my name is."
Look, Brad lets me do it all the time. Come on down.
I fucked Brad Pitt. I fucked them all. I'm gonna fuck you, Brendan Fraser. I'm gonna fuck your butt, Brendan Fraser.
He also told the media that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association tried to get him to sign an agreement that stated he was joking about his claim. And Burke has since said, that Brendan Fraser's recounting of the version is a total fabrication. The Mummy actor said the Hollywood Foreign Press Association wanted him to sign a statement that said he was touched by Burke, but the evidence supports that it was indeed intended to be taken by a joke and not a sexual advance. So Brendan,
I don't think anyone reaches around and massages your taint unless they're like
I'm just joking with you.
Oh yeah,
I'm joking.
So
when
Brendan,
I stuck my dick in your ear, that was just a joke, buddy.
Brendan claims and is backed up by a lot of people that it's possible that this is why he doesn't get work anymore in Hollywood, or why he's had to take a lot of shitty B rolls and shit. He may have a comeback though. We can take a look. He's in an upcoming Darren Aronofsky film. You can skip this one. Go to the next one.
Next.
He's in an upcoming Darren Aronofsky film called Whale. The film, an adaptation of Samuel D. Hunter's play, focuses on a 600-pound middle-aged man named Charlie who is attempting to reconnect with his 17-year-old daughter after he abandoned his family for a gay relationship. So Darren Aronofsky makes good movies, so maybe a comeback for Brendan Fraser in the works, but that's how Brendan Fraser got fucked over by the Mummy's curse, and that's what I've got for you today.
Yes. Sounds...
Man, I like this return role too. It's like, these actors like, you gotta get cut, or whatever. It's like, nah, you gotta balloon.
Yeah, you gotta balloon up.
Balloon.
Get fatter. Fatter, Brendan. Fatter.
Brendan, I'm looking at you now and you're not fat enough.
You're not fat enough, Brendan.
Eat some more ice cream and donuts.
Fuck that Philip Burke bitch. I'm gonna go see Brendan Fraser in this movie, and I hope that fucking serial groper gets his fucking comeuppance.
Same.
For fucking depriving the world of Brendan Fraser.
See you next time.
Deep bad pride. Deep bad pride.